winter, so I think it's a good time to celebrate. So we have a note here at the bottom of the reading. It says, on September 9th, 2015, Queen Elizabeth II became the longest reigning monarch in world history. Okay, so before that, it was just Queen Victoria who was the longest reigning monarch. But after, on September 9th, 2015, it was Queen Elizabeth II, the current Queen of England, who became the longest reigning monarch in the world. Okay, there's more information about that.
Do you know how many? Do you know how many years the Queen Elizabeth
Have been reigning in England?
reigning?
I don't know. No, I don't know.
70.
I think it's about 80 years.
80 years?
I
Maybe.
think, yeah.
Yeah.
Almost.
No, 70.
70.
Why?
I have
70.
got some information about Queen Victoria prepared for you.
She started at the age 18. So right now, she is 96.
Yeah, 96. Next to 70.
Yeah, almost the 80 years.
Yeah, it's 80 years.
So we can see
No,
Queen
almost 70.
Elizabeth.
Almost 70. 90.
Yes.
It's 69.
So, yes, 70.
So don't worry, I will show you the years. So it is Queen Elizabeth II, and I think she started reigning England born in
Age 18, I remember.
In 1952, she became head of.
So let's see. Elizabeth was born in Mayfair, London, the first child of Duke and Duchess York, later King George IV and Queen Elizabeth. And she was educated privately at home. Her father ascended the throne on the abdication of his brother King Edward VIII in 1936, from which time she was the heir presumptive. She began to undertake public duties during the Second World War, serving in the Auxiliary Territorial Service. In 1947, she married Philip, Duke of Edinburgh, and a former Prince of Greece and Denmark, with whom she has 4 children: Charles, Prince of Wales, Anne, Prince of Royal, Prince Andrew, Duke of York, and Prince Edward, Earl of Wessex. When her father died in February 1952, Elizabeth became head of Commonwealth and Queen Regent of 7 independent Commonwealth countries.
Okay.
The United Kingdom, Canada, Australia, New Zealand, South Africa, Pakistan, and Ceylon. Okay, so these are the Commonwealth countries. You know, Commonwealth countries is England, Canada, Australia, New Zealand, South Africa, Pakistan, and Ceylon. And he became the head in 1952. So how many years is it?
68.
68.
68, yeah.
Okay,
Yes.
so 4 years more than Queen Victoria. Yes, as I told you, there are lots of movies about Queen Victoria. So this is the information about Queen Victoria. This is a picture. I wanted just you to see her face. And this is Queen Victoria when she was 4 years old. And this is her portrait when she was 18 years old. Okay, and you know there are lots of movies about uh, Queen Victoria. The latest movie was for 2017. It was Victoria and Abdul. That was the name of the movie. It was Victoria and Abdul. It's a British biographical comedy drama film directed by Stephen Frears and written by Lee Hall. The film is based on the book of the same name by uh, Shrabani Basu about the real life relationship between Queen Victoria of the United Kingdom and her Indian Muslim servant Abdul Karim. Uh, it stars Judi Dench, Ali Fazil, Michael Gambon, Eddie Izzard, Kim Pigott Smith in his final film role, and Adil Akhtar. The film had its world premiere at 74th Venice Film Festival and was theatrically, sorry, I cannot pronounce this very well, released on 15th of September 2017 in the United Kingdom. It has grossed over $65 million worldwide. Okay? So this is the movie that you can watch. Got information that I have found for you about the Queen Victoria. And we've got a good site here. Yeah, do you have any questions?
No, last year, the Manitou channel show a series about the Victoria. It started again.
Oh, the series about Victoria?
Okay. Yeah. It started again.
Okay. Yeah,
I think
there are lots of movies, you know, throughout the history. I think there are a dozen of movies just produced about Victoria because it is the most brilliant and victorious and glorious part of the England history. So yeah, they're quite interested in those kind of movies. So I've got a site here about the different forms of government. There are 20 common forms of governments, and it's good to study them, but I'm not going to just talk about all of them right now. You know, anarchy, just I'm asking you if you know anything about anarchy.
King, yeah.
Pardon?
King and oh no, monarch.
That's monarchy. It's anarchy.
Yeah.
You know, anarchism or anarchist refer to an absence of government, a condition in which a nation or a state operates without a central governing body. This denotes an absence of public utilities or services, a lack of regulatory control, limited diplomatic relations with other nation states, and in most instances, a society divided into different locally ruled settlements or fiefdoms. Okay?
I think, Sam, we don't have any countries with this kind of government in the world.
Yeah, nowadays no, but as you can see, you have a real example for them. A real world example was in 1991. It was in Somalia. You know, in Somalia, it was the dictator Said Barre was uh, toppled. Actually, was withdrawn from the monarchy, and the country started an anarchy. Just a few years ago in Iraq, the same thing happened after Saddam Hussein was toppled down. You know, the country just started an anarchy. So uh, each part of the country decided to be autonomous. So that is called anarchy. Okay. When there is no central
I have
government.
a question. Anarchy, like to honor anarchists?
Yeah, yeah. In French pronunciation, it is anarchist.
Yeah.
You're right. But in English, they call it anarchy.
Honor.
So they have aristocracy. Aristocracy refers to a form of government in which wealthy nobles are given power over those in lower socio-economic strata. Positions of leadership are reserved for those uh, of an elite ruling class status, which is typically hereditary. So it is in aristocratic countries, there is a noble family who is ruling the others. Especially in ancient Greece, it was like that. Okay, they had an aristocratic government. Then we have different forms of government. We are just going to read some of the most important one. Like for example, we have capitalism. You know capitalism?
Yeah.
What is capitalism?
The government who operated by private ownerships.
That's right. So capitalism refers to a form of economy in which production is driven by private ownership, as Nasser said. Yes, capitalism promotes the idea of open competition and extends from the belief that a free market economy, one with limited regulatory control, is the most efficient form of economic organization. So we have many different examples in the world. One of the most famous ones is the United States. You know, United States is a capitalist country in which the competition and free economy market is quite promoted. So colonialism, or we don't want to talk about it. You know, another form of government is communism. Do you have any idea about communism?
Yeah, the government run by public ownership, by
That's right.
socialism.
So just unlike capitalism, in which private sector plays a very important role, here everything is public. They believe that nothing is owned by the private sector, just
Yeah.
the opposite. Okay? So in its purest form, communism refers to the idea of common public ownership of economy, including infrastructure, utilities, and means of production. Communism, as idealized by thinkers Karl Marx and Friedrich Engels, denotes an absence of class divisions, which inherently requires the supervision, subversion of the ruling class by the working class. So they believe that there shouldn't be any classification in the society. So modern communism manifests are like in, in Soviet Union, previous Soviet Union, it was Soviet communism. And also I think nowadays is in China, we have some kind of modern communism in China.
Also in Cuba. Also in
Also in
Cuba.
Cuba, you're right. Still here it says that it is still in Cuba. We've got a communist country in Laos, Vietnam, and People's Republic China. These are the most famous communist countries nowadays. So then we talked about democracy. We have talked about it before. We don't have much time to talk about it. Democracy refers to a form of government in which people are given a direct role in choosing their leadership. Its primary goal is governance through fair representation, a system in which no single force or entity can exercise unchecked control or authority. That is called democracy. Remember, I told you demo means people, classy means ruling. So it is the ruling by the people over the people. So the most famous democratic countries nowadays are, United States, Canada, and some other countries are claimed to be democratic. So there are many different government systems. Let me go to some military dictatorship. You know, military dictatorship.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a dictatorship. Is a nation ruled by with absolute power. So